friends out there. I know it's been a long time now since my last vlog. It's been a couple of weeks. It's just been some really challenging weeks lately. I have felt so disconnected and so low of energy. So I haven't been able to work at all almost for at least 2 weeks. But you have no idea how happy and grateful I am that I finally can do this video. Just a few days ago I had no idea what my next vlog would be about because of this situation that we've been in. I had no idea if my next vlog would be about us packing our things and preparing to move away. Because yeah, it's just been so many huge questions about, life and the future and if we're gonna move, if we're gonna stay, and it's just been draining us so much that there was no energy left for doing anything really. But it all turned out good, and now I sit here and I feel this deep joy and peace, and I have some really good news to share with you. And I know that many of you already know what's been going on if you follow me on Instagram or other social media platforms. So the last couple of months we've been in this situation with the wind turbine industry. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I made a video in December talking about this situation that we've been in for 7 years. I can't even describe in words how I felt after that. They are beginning to use the northern parts of Sweden more like an energy industry, and not energy for the people living up here, but they take it down to the big cities or sell it to other countries. And you can find the link to that video in the description if you want to see it, because I'm not gonna go into details with that now because I'm so tired of talking about that, because it's like my mind has only been thinking about that the last few months, and I feel like I don't want to even talk one word more about this. But so the good news is that Jinton and the nature here around is gonna be saved and preserved. There's not gonna be a huge industry here. The Sami people can still have their reindeers here during the winters, and me and Jonna can stay at this place. We can continue living in Jinton, just as my ancestors have done for the last 300 of years. And you have no idea how much this means to me. I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful. My absolute goal with this video is to give thanks to all of you that have helped us through this fight and this journey, and there's so many of you that have been very engaged in this and helped us signing the petition and spreading the word, and just being there as a huge support and sending your positive thoughts and prayers and everything. And it have meant so much to us and to many other people around living here. We are forever grateful for your help. So the future of this land, this nature, was in the hands of the politicians in Sollefteå County. And I got to know that the biggest reason that at least some of them said no, which was enough for this to not happen, was because of the Sami people and the reindeers. And it gives me a lot of hope, because there's been a lot of problems with that in Sweden, in the north of Sweden lately, the last years, and because they used the north of Sweden as a big energy industry and build these huge wind turbine industry parks. They get less and less space for the reindeers, which mean it's hard for them to continue with this ancient culture, because the huge problem is that they don't build them where they are needed, like close to the cities, because that's where they need space for expensive apartments and shopping malls. So they continue to build in the north of Sweden even if there's no need for them at all to be here. But yeah, I feel so much hope for that, because I hope that it can be a change now, that the nature here and the Sami people and the north of Sweden will gain more respect in the future in upcoming projects like this, because I know a lot of people are in the same situation as we have been. I have no idea how much our engagement affected the politicians, but I know that it did something. When it comes to this decision, every little thing mattered. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you from a lot of other people as well, and for the trees and nature and the birds and the animals. It actually feels unreal. I haven't really understood it yet, that we actually get to stay at this place. It's a bit chilly today, actually. Cheers on you, everyone. With some green tea. So even if these last months have been so tough and so challenging because of all this fear of losing this, it was all worth it. Because when I did the video in December, when I told you about the situation, I just wanted to, let you know, to share my feelings, so you would understand why I'm going through a pretty bad time. I had no idea that so many would feel with us and understand our fear of losing this. And I just want you to know that it's been so helpful. It's been giving us so much hope and energy when we needed it the most. So, yeah, I just love you guys. I love you. Cheers again. I also have some other good news to share with you regarding our future here that I haven't told anyone yet. Well, of course, our families know, but I haven't shared it on the internet yet because it's so new. And it was also all depended on the situation with the wind turbine industry, if we could stay or if we had to move. And it's also because of this that these weeks were even more painful when we were waiting for this decision to be made, because that's what we have done now since November, just waiting for the politicians to take a decision, and it's just been torturous. We were in the middle of buying a house before all this shit happened. So I thought I would just sit down now and share with you the story about this and what we have been going through the last months, and our good news, which I guess you already can guess what it is. But to tell you this in the best way, I have to start in November. In November, life was really good. Since the spring last year, we had been free from these wind turbine industry plans because they got a no from the last authority or instance after 7 years. So it was like a long process. This finally ended. So in November, we tried our best to find solutions for the problems that we had. And if you have followed my vlogs earlier, maybe you know that we have had some big problems with lack of space. The house that we rent now is pretty small. I guess it's definitely enough for 2 persons, but we have our businesses and we work at home, and for at least 2 years it's been way too small. It feels like we have no space to live really, and we have no space to work. That's why during the winter now we have rented another house to have, the painting studio and prints, but it's so expensive also to keep the houses warm that we have rented, and yeah, it's just been a mess. And so for the last 2 years, me and Johan have been dreaming a lot about finding a bigger house. A bigger house, and maybe to have small houses outside that we can have our work, because having your work in your home, I think it's not super good in the long run. It's fine for a while, but yeah, you know what I mean. So of course the last years we have been looking for opportunities to have a house here in Grundtjärn, but we thought it was kind of impossible. So we actually started looking for houses outside the villages, but that's been really hard as well. I've been asking around a lot, and yeah, it was a problem for us. So in November we were like, okay, what should we do? what is our alternatives, because we have to find a solution to this. We need to find bigger space because the space problem is holding us back so much with our work and with our life. We need to find more space. But then we had this dream house here in Grundtjärn that we have been dreaming of for many years, and I have dreamt about having that house even since I moved here. It's a big old house. It's over 100 years old, and it's, the windows are handmade, and the garden is like a paradise. There's a little pond and a stream, and it's perfect for plants and gardening, and there's an old barn with lots of space, and there's 2 other tiny beautiful houses outside, and it's like a little farm. I don't know what you say in English. In Sweden you say gård, and that's a pretty good word for what it is. It's like, it's not only a house, it's like, a barn and everything. I hope you know what I mean. And of course the last years me and Jonna have been talking and dreaming about that house. But there's a couple living there since many years back, and we have just been thinking sometimes about what if they are gonna move, then we could buy it, but it's just been dreaming. I'm so terrible in trying to explain things in a short way, but in November we decided we have to find a solution. So before we started looking for houses outside Grundtjärn, we thought that we have to give it a chance. So one day we went to the house, the couple living there, and we told them that we were interested in their house and wanting them to know that if they ever gonna sell it, if they could please contact us. Of course it feels a bit awkward to go to someone and tell them that you're interested in their house, but I've also learned that if you want something in life, you gotta go forward and try your best to get there. You can't just sit on your ass waiting. So we had a good conversation with them, and 1 week later they came home to us and they told us that they were planning to move and that they wanted to sell the house to us. Can you believe this? It's like a movie, like a dream. It was such a joy. It was just wow. That was such a timing. We couldn't really believe it was true. We were so happy. I felt this deep joy because I knew that finally life was gonna be a little bit easier for us. Finally pieces were gonna fall in place and we would finally solve this huge problem with lack of space. We would finally have space to expand, and we were really, really happy. The same week as we got to know about the dream house, we also got the terrible news about the company Forska, that they were gonna send in a new application for the wind turbine industry. And it just turned our lives upside down in a way, because we had already gone through this process for 7 years, and when we finally felt free and we're gonna find our own house, our own home, we had to kind of go back again and start over. I remember I was thinking that I regretted that we even asked them about the house, because if we wouldn't have known that we could buy our dream house here, at least it would have been a little less painful. So when we got to know about the plans with the industry again, we had to stop the process with buying the house. We had to tell them that we can't buy the house if there's going to be an industry here, because then we might not be able to sell it. That's a big problem for people, that when they build these parks they can't sell their houses, and we just didn't want to be in another drainful situation. But of course they had already planned to move, so now in February the house was out on the sales market for houses, and it just felt so sad to see our dream house out on the sales market, and we knew that anyone can buy it now, and it was really torturous because we didn't know what to do. If we waited, we might lose it, but if we bought it, we might not be able to move because we can't sell it. It was really torturous. It was really like being stuck, and we had no idea when the decisions from the politicians would come. the only thing we could do was to keep waiting for the politicians to take a decision. And it was every political party in the county had to take their own decision, and then they had to like count if it would be a yes or no. And it was very equal. Like they didn't take a decision at the same time. So one week we got one positive decision, and then the next week we got a negative, and it was, this torture. It was like a film, So of course it ended up being all dependent on one political party and just a few persons. And that's when the real torturous waiting began. For 2 weeks we waited for them to take a decision, and I don't know. One day we felt hopeful, and the other day we felt fear, and we were just spending our days waiting and crying and it was really hard. In a way, I know it's not the end of the world. It's a luxury problem. Everything was okay, but I can't help but feeling really sad. So in this torturous waiting, we had to think about the plan B, because if there would be an industry, we knew that we wanted to move away as fast as possible. And our plan B was to move to our cottage in Marsfjällen, the beautiful mountain area where we have a cottage, and it's about 3-4 hours from here. First we thought about finding a house there. So we were actually looking for opportunities to move there, but we realized that we can't afford a house there, because the houses there are so much more expensive than they are here. 'Cause in this area they are really cheap. It's such a big difference. But at least we had our cottage, and our cottage are really small. It's one room and one kitchen. There's no water. There's no toilet. There's nothing. It's the total opposite to the dream house that we were moving to. So if we moved to the cottage, we knew we have to rent some kind of space in the nearest town where we could have the smithy and have our work. We knew that the life in the cottage would gonna be really, really hard. It would be like totally start from the scratch with nothing really. So weird to think about that. Soon we will have to know if we gonna live in the dream house here in Grundtjärn, or if we gotta move away and start from scratch with everything, having no space at all. It was such a big contrast. Then it was finally Monday, this Monday, and that's the day when the last political party was gonna take their decision. That was the day when we finally would get to know what our future would be like, because in some way the waiting was the most painful part. I just wanted to know the decision so we could move forward, because it was terrible to be stuck in waiting. So something really interesting and weird and beautiful happened to me early on Monday morning. I took a photo in my sleep. So yeah, it was early in the morning, we were sleeping. It was just before sunrise, and I woke up, but I was still in my sleep. And this happened to me often. I call it awakened dreams, and I have had it like all my life. It's that I wake up because I'm aware of what's going on, but I'm still dreaming. I'm in my sleep, so I usually do weird things, like I can sit and talk to people, or I often remember what I have done, but I didn't realize that I was just asleep. It's really hard to explain. I don't know if some of you know what I mean, but so yeah, it's a mix of sleepwalk and being still a little bit awake. So I just sat up in bed and looked outside the window, and I saw this beautiful sunrise. But in that weird state of mind that I was in, like half asleep, half awake, I didn't see it as a sunrise. For me, I felt that it was like a sign from universe or God or whatever. It was like this light showing up for me, telling me that everything was gonna be okay. I know it sounds really weird, but it was like this deep spiritual experience. I thought it felt like a miracle. When I looked at the sky, it was like, it was for sure a sign that no matter what's gonna happen, it's gonna be alright. And I just was filled with this peace and light inside of me. And the first thing I did was to take up my phone and take a photo, because I felt that I need to show Johan this miracle on the sky. So I took a photo with my phone, and after I did that, I fell asleep again. And then later in the morning we were eating breakfast, and by then I had forgot about this sleep-awake experience that I had. But Johan were telling me about his dreams that he had during the night, and then I was starting to remember what happened earlier in the morning. I was thinking about the sunrise, and I remember something about me taking a photo with my phone. So I took up my phone and looked, and I found the photo that I took. And I could really see that I took that photo in my sleep, because I'm a photographer, so if I'm gonna take a photo of the sunrise, I try to do it a little better than that. It was like you could see the window and everything just looked really weird. And it was so weird to see the photo, because I still could remember the deep, feeling I had when I saw the sunrise. It was like the light of the universe, like some much bigger force coming and just sending me all this light and love. And then I saw the photo and I just see it's the sunrise. It was really interesting. So yeah, it was a beautiful start on that Monday, because after that I felt so much more at peace. It was the last day with waiting for this decision regarding our future and the future of this land here. But I didn't felt any, fear anymore. I learned something really good from this. Sometimes from the, when you go through a challenge or a really hard time, you also learn something, and I really did from this. I finally, accepted the fact that I might lose what I have been dreaming for so long. I might lose this house and this life here in Grundtjärn, and I might need to move to a cottage and start from scratch. But I felt fine with that. I didn't felt any fear. I just felt that no matter what the decision will be, at least we will be free. We will not continue to wait to live our life. We will be free. I felt that I didn't want anything to stop us from being happy. Like, life is too short to let something else control us like that. And it was really beautiful. And it was, even if I of course still wanted to stay here with all my heart, I knew that even if I will lose this house and lose the life here, it will be alright. Everything will be alright. But even if it felt alright, of course the waiting, the last hours was really hard. I guess my next lesson is to learn to also accept the waiting, but I'm not really there yet. In the evening on Monday, I was in my working room. I was packing things. Because yes, we had already prepared for moving. We had bought these, boxes for packing things. In some way, it just felt really good to do something to move forward, to pack our things and get ready. And as I stood in there packing, I got a phone call. And it was a phone call from one of the members in the political party that had taken the decision the same day. He said he just wanted to call me to let me know the good news. They had voted no for the wind turbine industry here. And I guess he knew that we were in this torturous waiting, so he wanted to let us know before the newspaper would write about it. And that was so kind of him. I remember it was really hard to keep talking in the phone. I just wanted to hang up because I just wanted to cry. So after that, we just spent the evening crying and laughing, and we felt such deep relief that it was all over and we got to stay in Grundtjärn.
Yan, yung kumagbi kanina.
It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the hate in the head.
Victory! Victory! Vi får bo kvar här nu.
I know you tried so hard.
So the next morning we contacted the couple with the house and told them that we want to go further now. We want to buy the house, and we were really lucky that there was nobody else that wanted to buy it. So that's what we have been doing now since Monday, is to secure the house, and it's done now. We gotta stay in Grundtjärn, and in the early summer we're gonna move to the house of our dreams. Yeah, I can't believe it. I still don't understand this. After these terrible months with so much fear of losing everything, we can stay here now, and we're also gonna have space that we have wanted for so long. I can't even describe in words the joy that I feel right now for everything, that it all worked out in the end. I can't wait to show you the house and the garden and, you know, the barn and everything. I'm sure a lot of you are gonna love it. You know, it's something special with old houses. I've always loved, you know, the old style, when you can see that it has a history. So again, I just want to thank you all for fighting with us these months. Wherever you live, in Sweden or in other countries, I really hope you someday will be able to visit Sweden and visit this area around Sollefteå County, and maybe have a walk in the forest that you helped us preserve. Thank you so much for watching this long vlog about me just talking. But I just felt that I needed to share with you what's been going on and the good news, so I can now move forward. I hope you have a lovely week, and I see you soon again. Mwah! Lots of love to you all. Bye bye.